Hello there. I'm John Harder. Thank you for hanging out with me on YouTube, on Google. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about naysayers. And not only about naysayers, of course, but just partly. Just because I want us to remain strong and keep our goal on our purpose, because now that we are closer to migration, there are people who are, for some reason, are putting efforts in to try and slow down or stop, if it were, the success of TBC. Well, one thing we know for sure is that we don't have to worry about naysayers. We don't have to worry about them. Let's just even if if you want to start worrying about naysayers and thinking that that because people see negative things that we won't have success now. Well, that would be kind of futile because I mean, look at the naysayers about Bitcoin. Some of the richest people in the world who had all the had who kept on hammering about Bitcoin and how bad it was and how useless it was and that it was a bubble and all that stuff. And uh, now they've they're getting into Bitcoin. And now, seriously, I personally, I'm of the opinion that we really don't need those kind of people in our community. Uh, and now I'm only saying that because those are people that I don't know if they have the capacity to ever think straight. To not just have a destructive thinking and uh, having absolutely nothing in mind but their own benefit and their own. Well, is it even a benefit? I'm not sure if you can call it a benefit, but nothing but their own agenda that they want to follow. But now that the foothold seems to uh, be losing ground in the banking, you know, the central banks seem to lose ground on their foothold of the Federal Reserve. Well, now they're beginning to turn to Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin was it was a very good coin, very good, uh, how should I say, a starter, a trailblazer, I call it. because it showed to us that it can be done. It showed to us that blockchain technology works. It showed to us that blockchain technology is very robust, um, because agencies have tried to interrupt Bitcoin, to penetrate the blockchain, and they couldn't find ways to do it. There's no so far nothing has been found that can that can alter the blockchain, because this distributed ledger is not it's not hosted on servers, and therefore it doesn't have any base, and that's what makes it so strong. Well, that is what TBC is based on, and obviously we found out a bit more than a year ago that that a system can be too weak, it can be too slow, it can, you know, uh, it can easily come to a point where it's not able to handle the transactions, because we had, we had not even 500,000 people at the time, I don't think, when when the system failed us. But now we have the system, and we have people who would love to see TBC not make it. There's people who would like to, rather see, I don't know, I'm guessing that they want to hold to the monetary system that we have. Maybe they love debt. I'm not, I can't quite understand how people think, how some people think, because really, any Bitcoin, almost any of them, I wouldn't say all of them, because there are some cryptocurrencies that are probably not very much better than the debt-based system. And I think, well, the only one that I can really think of is would be Ripple, because apparently the guy that owns Ripple, and it's funny that we should say it that way, that he's the guy that owns it, but apparently he designed the system so that he's pretty much the sole person that benefits, and which is probably why it's not really doing all that well. But it's been said that he would be that if he could just cash out, he'd probably be the richest person on the planet. But he can't seem to cash out anyway. So what good does it really do? But what I'm talking about is people who are busy on Facebook, and maybe some other places like that too, maybe Twitter, who knows where they hang out, but they love to make their to state their opinion about TBC. And if you listen to their statements and their videos and stuff, you can very readily tell that they really don't know much about TBC. They certainly don't. Well, if they do know that TBC has been designed or created to end world poverty, well, they're certainly not they're certainly not in tune with that. You can tell. Excuse me. Goodness. Um, but I think what we can quite easily tell from those statements that they can't seem to see much, far beyond their own, beyond their own nose, as it were. They just they're basically think of themselves and don't see the value that TBC has. And I think we need to guard ourselves and keep busy on and focusing on our goal of ending world hunger, world poverty. Keep our goal in mind, and and also very much keep in mind the future that we are trying to build. Not only just for the fact that we want to end uh, global poverty, but it's more than that. Well, I don't know how much more is there really, but what we want to see is we want to see people being able to enjoy life. We want to see people uh, having time for for one another, for uh, to do things together, to well, enjoy life. Uh, and if we're gonna go and see what or what are the people saying on Facebook now, what's all what all negative stuff are people saying, or even start thinking, well, because of that negative stuff going on Facebook, it's going to slow down the growth of TBC, and we want, you know, uh, let's not allow that to bother us any. You know, we don't need to let that bother us. We have plenty to do to keep ourselves busy with the positive things and with our goal, um, with the things that we're trying to accomplish, and we know that that people are in need. People are in need, and way much more than just financial need. People are in need of knowledge. People are in need of understanding, and I think that is probably one of the biggest factors in the equation when it comes to trying to achieve what we're working on, because most people, they do not spend time learning and to understand, to try and understand. uh, they are busy, and of course we understand that, right? Because the world has been created like that, that we are meant to be so busy that we don't take time to think of of why is the world the way it is. What uh, who's behind all this? How did we get to where we are? That's We're not supposed to be thinking about that. We're supposed to be very busy, barely making a living. That's the aim. That's the aim of those who created, who are behind of what we uh, who have been in charge of creating the world that we now have. And I think we see that very much where people are so busy, barely making, barely getting by, that they don't bother uh, to think, well, how is who's why did we ever get here? What's you know how can this be changed? But instead, it's just busy, 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 and then they get tired, and then there's sports to watch. There's things to talk about. There's lots to talk about celebrities, about sports, about what was on the news, and all of those things, right? And of course, nobody can help this. uh, it just happens. It just it just happens out of nowhere. It all happens, and nobody can do anything about it. No, and of course we want to try to vote the right person into Parliament or Congress or whatever you want to call it. And then hopefully they're gonna fix it. And then and then finally things are going to change. And I'm not here to say that a politician can't do anything. I think they can. I believe that it's of great importance to vote in the right person. Uh, However, I think um, in order to be able to do that, we would need to understand quite a bit about the person that we're voting for. We would need to know what that person really actually stands for. Um, which, if we go by what we hear on the news, well, that wouldn't tell us much. So we need to know from other sources, which would take a little bit of research, a little bit of digging, a little bit of finding out who is this guy, what or woman or whatever, who is this person, what are they. You know what? You've probably been there for a while already, and I did not uh, say hi or anything. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it, and I'll say hi now then, uh, and very, very welcome. Thank you, Brian and Pedro. Thank you very much for joining me. Yeah, and so on the level of when it comes to politics, uh, I think that it is very important that we do that we have as much a hand in it as we can, to try and vote the right people in. Now, I'll be actually totally honest with you. I don't believe in politics at all. I don't believe in politics. I believe in freedom. I believe that no government, no person should ever be ruling over someone else. I guess I would have to admit I am an anarchist. I just totally believe that we should be free and nobody should ever be ruling over somebody else. And uh, now, people who want that, we can have that. Um and if you want to, if you're here and you want to know more about that, on my website, cryptotbc.com, I have a page on there that is called True Freedom. If you check out the information on that page, you will know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there is a way that we can free ourselves completely from the the law system. However, oh, Spanish. Uh, not quite sure why you mentioned Spanish, but okay. And all right, where was I? Yeah, complete freedom. I do believe in total freedom. Oh, does Brian speak Spanish? That's awesome. Okay. So as I mentioned, politicians or the politics. I think when the country that we live in, especially if we're still part of the system, I think it is important that we do what we can to um, to try and help steer it the way that at least to leads to more freedom and less bondage and so on. Although, like I said, I believe in freedom completely from the system. But anyway, so what what I mean by not paying any attention to negativity or the naysayers or anything like that, because as soon as we do, we are distracted from our goal and from achieving what we want to do. And I appreciate the part of the video that or of that movie that Pedro shared, because I believe that um, what's that we need to find that inner guidance. We need to pay attention to that inner guidance within us, so that so that because it's happiness that we want. Ultimately, it's happiness. I know that the people think, well, they want a lot of money, they want a lot of things, and they want, but ultimately, it's happiness that we're after. I think very often we mistake happiness for other things. I think that can easily happen. But happiness is really the ultimate thing that we're here to experience. And I mean that in every way. I believe in that happiness. We need to experience it in the wealth, in enjoying life in all areas, in every aspect of it. True happiness. And certainly, certainly, when we have the wealth we need to be able to uh, not only for ourselves, but to be able to make our mark in the world, to help other people to experience the joy and the comfort and all of the things that they want, and that we see that we can see ourselves helping others create the joyful life that they want. I think that in turn really helps us to enjoy life as well. And for that, we need wealth. And so that is one of the reasons I am so grateful for TBC, because that is what we're getting um, from TBC. And so as we move forward with TBC and and begin creating the life that we want, using TBC where we can, everywhere we can, and share it with people, this will help us uh, spread it out. And as it does, those naysayers out there, we don't need to worry about that, because they will be run over by success, you know. And because it can, give it a year or two, maybe not even that much, and those very people that are now posting the worst negative things, they'll probably be the ones that will be the most effectively promoting it. So it is almost a guarantee that the people who are posting those negative things are probably broke. It's almost a given that those people are broke and they could really benefit from TBC. It's just that they have an opinion, and they need to state their opinion. I think that's really what it boils down to. So let's be happy to let them do what they need to do to get off their chest everything they need to get off there. And once they're ready to turn around, they will do so, right? And we can keep our mind and our efforts on our own goal. So as Pedro was sharing that video with that inner guidance, I have been working with that for some time, as I'm sure Pedro knows at least. And it's very, very easy to veer away from that. It's very easy for us to just not take the time to seek that inner guidance. But when we do, we get much more accomplished in a day when we do not miss that step. I think that's actually an important thing to do. Anyway, with that said, I appreciate some of the posts that again came out on the blog. That's actually where I got why I was talking about the naysayers a little bit, because of what I read on the blog. And so I just wanted to encourage us that we do not pay attention to that. And other than that, I appreciate very much you guys, the comments you posted, and the things that that you're here with me. And it's, I really appreciate knowing, Brian, that you know Spanish. Are you from Mexico or something? Or or did you learn it in the States, or? Okay. Anyways, anyhow, I believe I have pretty much shared what I wanted to share. Um, so so let us keep on focusing, building local communities, make strong ties with people, get TBC in as many hands of many people's hands as we can, and let's show people how to use it, how to make use of it, how to improvise making use of TBC. I was actually glad today. I bought a car today with TBC, so that was nice. And so with that said, my website is cryptotbc.com. I'm John Harder, and hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow night on this hangout and bring friends, please. Thank you.